It's difficult for most men to express emotion. It's difficult to shed tears. Help people understand that they're not alone and continue to break the stigma.
You're modeling. You're modeling for your team. You're modeling for your community.
It's that feeling of hope, and it brings that just unity.
You're modeling for other men. You're modeling for your daughter. Your business has raised over $30,000 for NAMI Northern Virginia.
Hi, I'm Ryan Rice with Rice Properties Group.
I'm Rebecca Kiesling. I'm the Executive Director of NAMI Northern Virginia. Ryan, how did you become involved with NAMI Northern Virginia?
So, about 4 years ago, we decided through our real estate team to give back to the community in a mental health run. And when we did our research, we wanted to support local. We wanted to support a nonprofit that values and offers the same vulnerability and openness about helping those with mental health illnesses.
Why did you decide on mental health as something that your business wanted to support?
So for a personal cause, dealing with my own personal issues throughout life, I wanted to help people understand that they're not alone and be very open with my personal struggle. And I felt as though through my struggles, I wanted to continue to break the stigma of those dealing with mental health illnesses within the community and speak about that and have an event that it brings the community together and supports this cause.
NAMI Northern Virginia and NAMI as a national organization, we're built on the premise of support, education, and advocacy. And you're really talking about a lot of those. You're talking about most of that, support in terms of peer-to-peer, and that's what we do. Education, it's breaking down those stigmas against mental health. And advocacy, it doesn't have to be going and visiting necessarily your elected officials, but it's talking to people in your community to make sure that people are getting care and raising funds. And we're so thankful to everything you've done through the years.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful growing of sponsoring these events and supporting NAMI, and it makes me very proud of myself and my team and also the community coming together. I think being our 4th year this year, partnering with you all, it's been organically growing, and it feels very good for people who reach out personally and say, hey, I'm dealing with this, or I've dealt with that. And I'm learning how to speak to them differently. And, it's really brought a lot of purpose to my life. Since I have the team that also believes in the same cause, it brings internally our team together. And within our industry and our everyday, real estate's emotional, and it brings out emotions that people aren't aware of with the stresses of the market, the ups and downs and roller coasters, and we're able to support that in a way that we can communicate and connect better with people.
One of the things that you said is doing these events has made a sense of community within your team. Can you describe that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So one of the ways it's helped bring the team together more in the community is being a leader to my team, and within our culture, it has brought a sense of, hey, we're doing this together. And they know my story, and each of them have their own story within the team. Of personal things they've struggled with, and as we're small, but we're mighty, but we're very intimate with one another, and we're very intimate with the community and those that we serve. So within the team and the business, it's brought us together for, hey, we're doing this, and we're not only are we selling houses, but we're actually like impacting the community in a positive light. And talking about these things, hosting these events, raising funds, it's for a greater cause, and it brings that just unity. And I feel as though when there is a cadence within a team, things are flowing better. There are great gratitude and a lot of empowerment with one another. And that empowerment then reflects in our business. We are serving the community. People are looking at us like, wow, they are a powerful team. But little do they know, all of us have had our own personal struggles. And
well, it's hard not to when in Virginia, 1 in 5 adults are dealing with a serious mental health issue. And now, after the pandemic, 1 in 5 adults are showing a mental health concern. They're showing signs of depression. They're showing signs of anxiety, signs of, something where before they wouldn't have classified themselves. So with your openness, and you're already talking about issues that you've seen and you've dealt with in your past, and you being willing to be open and trying to break those stigmas already, you're allowing your team, and by building that sense of community and being that leader, you're allowing your 1 in 5 and maybe more to be open. And that's being a good leader, so thank you for that. You shared with me on the phone details of your past, and I was very thankful for that, because it takes a lot to be able to talk about things that you've struggled with. I was very thankful that as a leader, as a man, it's more difficult often that we've seen for men to open up. And I was very thankful to you on the phone, but absolutely standing in front of the crowd during the run for sharing your struggles, but sharing how you overcame them as well. Sharing stories of recovery is offering hope. And I'm just so thankful to you for sharing that. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your story.
Absolutely. And, that's one of the things that I've learned that is self-motivating for me, is spreading that hope. And it is uncomfortable. It used to be uncomfortable, and it's becoming easier to discuss, my story. And in short, at a young age, I dabbled in drugs and alcohol, and that lasted into my middle of my 30s. With drugs and alcohol, I found out through sobriety, while I was blurring the feelings and emotions that I had. And when my daughter came to us in 2015 and she was born, a couple months later, I said, hey, things are wonderful in my life and it's time for a change. So just one day I decided to stop and say, hey, you know what? These feelings I have, what do I need to do to grow from this? And I've had, a great life. How can it get better? And how can I deal with these emotions? And what it was, I was dealing, and had been diagnosed at a young age with depression, ADHD, and anxiety. And so I was self-medicating. But when I went sober, I learned that, hey, I can deal with this. And the more I talked about it, the more I saw ears in my community kind of perk up. Like, oh, Ryan, oh man, thanks for letting me know that you're struggling. Thanks for, allowing, me to be, not alone with what I'm dealing with. So as that venture, and it'll be 7 years on September 23rd that I will be sober.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I remember when I first publicly made the announcement that, hey, life is changing, a lot of my friends at the time said, don't put that on Facebook, and when I did, I gained so much following and support because I made that uncomfortable move. I knew that if I threw it out there, it would be hard and people would be surprised at that public, hey, here's what I'm dealing with. Being even involved in 2015 and successful in 2015 in real estate, I wanted people to know the real me. And I wanted to be authentic and genuine, and it was time. So when I did that, it brought so much support to the community and my sphere of influence, and that has grown over the years.
You have a great support system, like a tight support system.
They are wonderful.
And I saw some of them as you spoke. Can you talk about, you don't have to, not names or anything like that, but what did that mean as you started your journey?
Sure. So the more I, either through social media or through conversations one-on-one with people that I've known for years or have met more recently in life, when I noticed once they connect with me and learn about me, it's almost like it's that feeling of hope. And some people deal with, whether it's drugs and alcohol or whether it's like, oh, well, yeah, I felt that depressed state too. I'm anxious about this, but I didn't know how to deal with it. Ryan, they're asking me, how do you deal with it? And everybody's story is different. I've noticed a lot through fitness and through the gym. People that I meet at the gym, they're coming in there to get these anxieties out and sweat it out, and which then, establish this event that we're hosting. And so I've noticed a lot of people like to share when they know I'm a trusted resource and that I'm not, putting their name out there, but they're looking at me like, hey, well, you're a leader in the community, and wow, you dealt with that?
It's that hope because of recovery, and, you're describing peer. You talk, people will come to you, and it's a lot of what we do at NAMI, and it's the NAMI model is peer-to-peer. So we do peer support groups, which are led by peers that have been in, whether it is our connection support groups, which are led by peers who have some kind of mental health concern, and they've been through tough times, and they've come through recovery, and we train them to be peer leaders. Family-to-family groups, which you mentioned your daughter. If there was a time when a family member was in the middle of a crisis and dealing with a mental health concern, and their families are trying to figure out how to help them and how to support them in that road to recovery, that's what those support groups are. But we can get them even more kind of unique and themed. So we have them for military families, and we have them for in different communities. We are starting one for women in science. We're doing a lot of different things to support the community. So, that peer group is so important. So if they don't have the support system like you do, that's what we help create.
Absolutely.
So, I loved our event. And I get to say our event, and I heard you speaking about your story, and as I stood there, I saw this man very clearly moved by what you were saying, and afterward he came over and gave you a big hug. And I think I was even more moved. First of all, it was your brother, but second of all, it is a man supporting another man, and we just don't see that enough. I think the big tough men not talking about their emotions, but one of the things that has impacted me, I have somebody in my neighborhood, for instance, that his wife had stage 3 breast cancer. And he told me a number of years ago that one of the ways that he got through was finding other men supporting their partners through treatment. That was long before I had this job, but just understanding that has really impacted one of the reasons I'm here, that peer support. Can you talk about how, other men have supported you, your brother, for instance?
Absolutely. So, speaking on my brother, He's always been such a wonderful brother, and I knew at a young age he always looked up to me. So some of the things that happened in our youth, I think that he's probably like, what the heck is going on there? And then through the growth, I think that, when my brother, and he'll tell me all the time, I love you and I'm so proud of you. He's been a huge support for me. And in that instance, other men that are close to me and other men that I've gotten to know, when they know me, they, at a young age, we're not necessarily taught, but we're conditioned in a way, men, that, boys don't cry, or it's difficult for most men to express emotion. It's difficult to shed tears. And being a very emotional man and can cry at a drop of a hat, I think that when people see that and other men see that, they're like, wow, like, yes, he has emotions, and hey, I actually have those too. And if you're expressing them publicly and in conversation and camaraderie, I think that brings that vulnerability piece. And we hear vulnerability as strength, but it's so true, because once that vulnerability comes and those emotions are expressed, there is a strength and a hope that comes with that vulnerability. And when you're your true self as a man and you're able to feel good about the way you feel and express those emotions, that's going to build greater purpose in your life, and a more positive mindset and clarity, and it's contagious.
You're modeling, and we've been speaking here, and so much of what I see as a mom, as a leader, is behavior that you read about in books. You're modeling. You're modeling for your team. You're modeling for your community. You're modeling for other men. You're modeling for your daughter. So, good job. I'm thankful to know you. I'm so thankful that you're one of our partners, and definitely thankful you're one of our supporters. You've raised, and your business has raised over $30,000 for NAMI Northern Virginia. And to put that into perspective, it helps support almost a year of our support groups. And to say how many people that offers support to is outrageous. And that is such an impact to Northern Virginia, which for us is 2 million people. Over 2 million people live in the area that we help support. Free support services too. So thank you to you, to Lindsay, and to your entire team. So thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's our pleasure. Yeah. On behalf of Rice Properties Group, I'd like to present this $7,500 check to NAMI of Northern Virginia.
Thank you so much. This is such a huge commitment from you, from your entire staff, and the community that came out. We are so thankful for your support this year and all the years that you've helped us. This is a huge thing for us. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're grateful to be able to support such a wonderful cause.